Hey guys, welcome back. I am standing in my bathroom because I just finished filming myself doing this hair. I've been asked several times if I could do some hair videos for you guys on what I do to get my first day hair and my second day hair and what my hair color is and things like that. And I've always said from the get-go that I just don't think that I have great hair. It's very fine and I get kind of oily at the roots, dry on the ends, and I've just kind of found within the past year some products and techniques that are really working for me, and you guys have been asking about that. So this hairstyle, I mean, it's not anything extravagant. It's not anything perfect. It's very whatever, but it's easy. It's something that I do almost on a daily basis, and I would say it's effortless. It's not effortless because obviously you're using tools and a curling iron, but it's something that I don't have to really mess with and maintain during the day. When I straighten my hair, I have to worry about it frizzing during the day or keeping it smooth because I do have those dry ends that get puffy. With this, it just kind of stays. And if it's humid outside, I don't really have to worry about it as much. This is not one where I'm clipping half up and getting a little more volume up here. This is my easy do. So that's why I wanted to start with it, because I feel like everybody needs an easy do, right? So if you guys want to see what I do to get this look, which is a pretty common look for me on a day-to-day basis, just keep watching. Okay, before I get started on the actual motions of what I do, I'm just gonna talk about the products that I use. I use a professional blow dryer, and I do think that that makes a difference. I've been using a professional blow dryer for years and years and years, but the thing about them is that they don't use very high heat to dry your hair quickly. They use power. So if you're concerned about your hair drying out or getting fried looking, that might be something you want to look at. It helps me. I use a Super Solano 3300. I had gotten my first Super Solano, it may have been 15 years ago, and it was pricey. I was a little concerned about paying that much for a dryer, but it lasted me over 12 years. And when I think about the number of cheaper hair dryers that I went through before that, it was well worth the cost, because I was blowing out hair dryers left and right. They would just die on me. So when that Super Solano died, I looked at other brands, but I ended up with another Super Solano. So I like it, it works for me. And I am on my third different straightener. I used a Chi. It died. I'm not saying they're bad because it lasted several years. When it finally died, I used a GHD. I dropped it at a hotel onto a very hard floor and had to replace it. And I replaced it with a Shiseido Revolution. And each time I've replaced my straightener, I have liked the one I got next better than the one before. So this one, I believe, is better than the GHD. The GHD, I believe, is an upgrade from the Chi. I just think that each one has straightened my hair a little bit better, yet kept it in decent condition. So that's what I use for my straightener, and it is the small, I think it's just an inch. I don't know, it's small, and I like the smaller one because it can get a little closer to the roots. And this one has an adjustable temperature setting right there. And I just use a big 1.5 inch barrel Hot Tools curling iron with an adjustable temperature setting. I've had this sucker for years because I used to not curl my hair, so it just sat in a drawer. And I know they still carry these. I've seen them in stores. Hot Tools, you can't go wrong. So those are the tools that I use. So this is it, and we can get started with the actual demo. I'm cutting in here with a random segment. Don't judge me from this hair. This is actually second day hair that has been rained on and windblown today, all day long. But I realized after I filmed and started editing this that I did not address the hair color that I've been asked about. And I also thought you guys might ask in the comments, or you might just want to know what I put on my hair when it was damp before I started air drying it. So I'm just going to throw that in here now. I did ask my stylist what my hair color was, and she told me it was Logic's 12B 40 volume high lift tint, and she puts me under the dryer for 20 minutes. And Every time I have gone, for as long as I can remember, I have gotten a partial highlight, which means she starts about halfway up the scalp and does the top. So all of this underneath part is my natural color. So that's what she's starting with. She's not starting with a completely brunette base, and I'm sure that does make a difference. That's about all I know about hair color, but I wanted to address that. Now for the hair products. So when my hair is wet and I've just taken it out of the towel and dried it out a little bit, the first thing that I put on is a volumizer at the root. I was using the Big Sexy Hair one. I've used the Moroccan oil one. Right now I'm using the Living Proof Full Root Lifting Hairspray. I don't really have a preference. I just put something in there to give me a little bit more lift at the root. If you guys have a good suggestion for one that just works amazingly well for you, that doesn't give you a crunchy feeling, let me know. Give me some suggestions. The next thing that I put in my hair is this heat protectant that I've talked about in videos in 2016, and I think it was in my year-end favorites. If not, it should have been. It's the Briogeo Rosarco Blow Dry Perfection and Heat Protectant Cream, and I put this in next, just about a dime nickel size amount, and I rub it all through my hair, and I have noticed a difference in the health of my hair since I started doing that. It's gonna seem like I'm putting a lot of products in my hair, but I don't know, it's just this little cocktail has been working for me, so I'm not really messing with it. The next thing is the Living Proof, I think it's no frizz, there's just a line through the frizz, Nourishing Styling Cream. Now I either do this or I do the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day 5-in-1 styling treatment. I don't really prefer one over the other. I like them both. I've been using this one because I ran out of the full size of this one and only have a travel size, but I do like them both. I use one or the other, and again I squeeze out maybe a nickel size amount and put it all through the hair. And this last step is something that I just added in a few months ago when I found this product, and it's just been working really well for me. And this is the Redken Frizz Dismiss Smooth Force Lightweight Smoothing Lotion Spray for fine or medium hair. And I also talked about this in my best of 2016 favorites and in one of my monthly favorite videos, because I picked this up because it's not often that you find an anti-frizz product that works well for fine hair and doesn't weigh it down. And this really does. I mean, I've been out in humidity and rain all day today, and yeah, there's a little bit of frizz, but not compared to what I got before I started using this product. It at least looks presentable, which is a lot more than I can say before I started using it. And I just take 3 pumps, sometimes even 2, and just pump it lightly over the top and kind of each side of my head, about 10 inches from my head, because I don't know, I don't want it to weigh it down. It probably won't. I'm just extra careful. But this is something I've really been enjoying too. So those are the products that go on my hair when it's wet before I air dry it. And here's my air dried hair in all its glory. What I'm doing now is pulling my growing out bangs forward and separating them out a little bit. I like to take a round brush and take it on the back side of the hair and dry my hair in that direction, because that gives it more of a swoopy look versus a curled over look. I just prefer this look to the front of my hair. I'll probably even do this when my bangs are grown out. I find I can control my part well this way too. I can part it a little farther over if I want to, or a little more towards the middle, and it just always seems to stay much better this way. So I just created a base for keeping my hair that way in the front, because now I'm going to flip my whole head over and create a lot of volume, or some volume, and look like I'm in an 80s hairband. So now that I made it all crazy looking, it's time to smooth it out. So I flip all of that hair over so that I have just kind of the lower half of one side of my head out, and I start to dry the underneath. And I'm not really as concerned about the ends because those are going to be hit with the curling iron, but I want to make sure that the part that's closest to the root is good and dry and also doesn't have a lot of kinks in it. I have some natural wave in my hair, so if you don't, you might not have to be as thorough with the paddle brush as I am. And now I'm taking the paddle brush and turning it outwards, and you can see I'm kind of lifting it when I'm close to the scalp so that I get a little bit of volume in there. And I'm just going to take that and keep repeating it until I feel like my hair's dry. And believe it or not, this whole process really does not take more than probably 7 or 8 minutes to dry my whole head. I think you guys get the gist of what I'm doing here, so let's move on to the next segment. I just flip the whole top section over to the other side minus the front part and repeat what I just did on the opposite side. And that's pretty much it for the underneath and the sides. And now we're going to move on to the back and the top of the head. So you can see I'm kind of flipping the brush upwards and outwards as I dry my hair so that I get lift at the root. If you have fine hair, it's all about getting volume. And to get volume, you need to dry the hair opposite of the direction it grows in. So that is what I'm trying to do, just kind of pulling it up from the root upwards and outwards away from the direction of hair growth. So I'm going to kind of fast forward through this section. You can kind of see what I'm doing here, just pulling it and messing it all up. And like I said, I'm not really concerned about the ends of my hair because those are going to be hit with the curling iron. Just trying to get some volume with the brush. So this is what we end up with after that rough volumizing blow dry. And now this is where I take my small flat iron and start to get out some of those little kinks that I have right close to my scalp. If you don't have any, count yourself lucky because this is kind of a pain to do. And I'm just gonna fast forward through this part, get these little kinks. I do like to take the flat iron and solidify that front part and just kind of make sure that direction's going the way I like it and that it's really smooth. Now I'm going to create volume at the crown of the head with that flat iron. Even those of you with straight hair may want to do this if you would like a little bit of lift back there without having to take the time to tease. I don't like my part going all the way to the back of my head because I think I lose volume that way. So you just take your flat iron and take small sections, starting with the flat iron at the root and just lightly taking it in an upward motion, gliding it down the hair until it's about halfway down and then just let it go. And you can see that just gives a little bit of lift at the crown, more so than I had before and more so than if my part was going all the way to the back of my head. Now what I do is just split my hair down the middle of the back of my head. Doesn't have to be even, I just need it to be on either side of my head. And I'm going to just brush it and make sure it's nice and smooth so that the curling iron will glide through my hair. And I'm going to take various size sections. I am not very precise. Sometimes they're an inch, sometimes they're an inch and a half, sometimes I do both. Holding the wand vertically, I just start about halfway down the hair and I just wrap my curl and I leave the end out, and it goes in kind of when I'm sliding the hair off the barrel. If you could see that, you might be able to see it on this next one too. But again, starting about halfway down the hair, I kind of slide, clamp it on, wrap it, then release and wrap a little bit more, and then when I release it, that end gets brought in a little bit, just so it's not just hanging completely straight. Today, I'm curling all of the curls away from my face. I don't always do that. Sometimes I alternate them. It just depends on my mood. A couple of things to note. If I have bigger sections of hair, the curls are going to be bigger, but I also need to hold them in the iron a little bit longer. And if I wrap my curls to where they're closer together on the iron, it'll give me a smaller, bouncier curl. And sometimes you'll accidentally leave out a small little strand like that, and it doesn't matter because it's just not a super precise look anyway. I like to take this front part and tilt it horizontally because I feel like that gives me more of a swoop look in the front, and I like that. And sometimes if it doesn't look quite right when I'm finished, I'll redo it at the end just to make sure it's exactly the way I want it. I'm going to finish up the rest of this off camera because you've seen it, it's pretty much the same thing. Finished with the tools, and now it's time for products to finish it off. I start with Bumble and Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil. I just pump it out in my hands, rub them together, and start finger combing through my hair to loosen up the curls and to give my hair a little bit of shine and finish. Then I take my Living Proof Full Dry Volume Blast that you guys know I love. I shake it up really well, and then I just start spraying it on the roots of my hair in various places. This gives the hair some texture and lift, but without feeling dirty and gritty. You can tell it's in there, but it just doesn't weigh on your hair or make your scalp feel funny. I really, really like this stuff. I get that worked in and my hair kind of smoothed out, and then I go in with my Living Proof Amp. and I take just a finger size amount, like a dime size amount, and I rub it into my hands until it's clear and you cannot see it. I just rake this through my hair and scrunch it in with my fingers and work it all in there, because this really gives volume to the length of my hair, which I really like. After getting that raked through and smoothed in, this is pretty much what I've got going on. I'm checking out the back and making sure everything looks good. This is what we have, which I am fine with on an everyday basis. This is good for me. It moves, it feels good, it doesn't feel weighed down. Now I take my Kenra 25 and lightly spray it over because it leaves it movable, nice and light. I hope that helped you guys and that it gave you a visual of what I do, and it probably wasn't perfect by any means, but I hope you at least got a sense of it's not difficult and it's doable. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, and if you're not following me on social media, I will put those on the screen and I will put those in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.